How does the greatest empire in history fall? Not by the sword of a single, mighty enemy, but by 1,000 cuts from within. It does not die in a single, glorious battle, but withers slowly, consumed by its own rot. This is the story of Rome, a cautionary tale of power, ambition, and the slow, agonizing death of a civilization. For centuries, Rome was more than a city. It was the world. From a humble settlement on the Tiber River, it grew into an empire that stretched across 3 continents. Its legions, disciplined and relentless, carved out a domain of unprecedented scale. Roman roads, marvels of engineering, stitched together a diverse tapestry of peoples. Roman law brought order from chaos, and under the watch of its visionary leaders. An era of peace and prosperity, the Pax Romana, settled over the known world. At its zenith, Rome was a symbol of strength, unity, and unwavering confidence. It seemed eternal, a city built to last forever. But the same power that built the empire would become the poison that destroyed it. As wealth poured into Rome, it corrupted the very heart of the Republic. The Senate, once a body of statesmen, devolved into a pit of vipers, where greed and personal ambition replaced public service. The title of emperor became a death sentence. In the span of just 50 years, during the crisis of the 3rd century, over 20 men claimed the throne, most meeting a violent end. The empire was torn apart by civil wars, as ambitious generals turned their legions not on foreign enemies, but on each other. The unity that had been Rome's greatest strength was shattered by betrayal and an insatiable lust for power. While the politicians fought, the economic foundations of the empire crumbled to fund their endless wars and lavish lifestyles. Emperors resorted to desperate measures. They debased the currency, mixing precious metals with worthless alloys, triggering runaway inflation. The value of money plummeted, and the savings of ordinary citizens evaporated overnight. Crushing taxes were levied on farmers and merchants, strangling trade and agriculture. The gap between the fabulously wealthy elite and the impoverished masses grew into an impassable chasm. The over-reliance on slave labor stifled innovation, leaving the economy stagnant. The bustling markets fell silent, the fields lay fallow, and the once great cities began their slow decay. Weakened from within, Rome became vulnerable from without. The once mighty legions, now stretched thin across thousands of miles of frontier, struggled to hold the line. The discipline and loyalty that had defined the Roman soldier were gone, replaced by armies filled with foreign mercenaries who fought for coin, not for the eagle standard. Seeing this weakness, so-called barbarian tribes pressed on the borders, no longer just raiding, but seeking new homes within the empire's lands. The Goths, Vandals, and Huns were not the cause of Rome's fall. They were merely the final consequence of its internal collapse. They were the scavengers drawn to a dying giant. The end, when it came in for 76 AD, was not a fiery apocalypse. It was a quiet, exhausted surrender. The last Western Roman emperor, a young boy ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was simply deposed. There was no grand battle for the city, no heroic last stand. The empire was already a hollow shell. Its symbols of power lay broken, its temples abandoned, its people scattered. The eternal city had finally fallen into silence. The ruins of Rome stand today not just as a monument to a lost civilization, but as a timeless warning. They remind us that no empire, no nation, no power is guaranteed to last forever. Greatness is not a destination, but a constant struggle. And when a society forgets the virtues that made it strong, when it succumbs to division, greed, and complacency, it sets itself on the same path to ruin. The echoes of Rome's fall can still be heard, a chilling whisper through the ages for all who are willing to listen.